Thank you.
Okay, it's 6 o'clock and it's time for meeting tonight. And again, it's great to see all of you here that braved the weather to get here. We appreciate you being here. Okay, you might have noticed that we have, well, we'll start with our Pledge of Allegiance and then we'll do some other special introductions. So, and that was part of it. So we have two young women here from Viewmont High School, and I'm going to let Superintendent Linford introduce them, but first we're having the Pledge of Allegiance led by Miss Cassidy Stevens, and she's a student body officer at Viewmont.
Please stand. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go ahead.
I will jump in here. I just want to welcome, and we'll hear from them later. I want to welcome, of course, Cassidy Stevens, who led us in the pledge. I love how students always lead with such confidence. They know what to do. Sometimes the adults, we muddle through it, and they always say, ready, begin, and they just do the business. So thank you. That's leadership. And then Emmy Bowen, who's here. And I haven't got to know Emmy as well, but look, you can just tell, right? She's amazing. So thank you. And we will hear from them later in the meeting.
Yes, we love having our students here at our board meetings. We just appreciate their input. And during the meeting tonight, if you would like to make a comment, make sure you wave at me because we love to hear from you. So welcome here. Okay, we have some amazing student performances tonight. And I'm going to call up Dr. Logan Toon, and he's going to introduce these special guests.
President Gerard, Vice President Price, board members, superintendent, it's a pleasure to be here tonight to just briefly cue up the real introduction. And every year in our district, we participate in a storytelling festival. So students from around the district prepare this art form, which is not very well known, but it is truly an art form, but it's where art meets literacy. And it's something that we've supported for a long time, and it has our full support as a superintendency. And we're grateful today to have the opportunity to present to you some of the student winners from our district storytelling festival. And just a quick note also, and Ms. Warden may mention this as well, we have a great collaborative agreement with Weber State University, who hosts their own storytelling festival and engages with our students yearly as well. And so we're grateful for their support. But with that, I'll just turn the microphone over to Ms. Lori Warden, who is a supervisor in teaching and learning department, and she oversees this effort. So Ms. Warden.
Thank you for this opportunity, Ms. Gerard, Ms. Price, and board members and superintendent. I don't know if you've spent any time with kids, but they are natural storytellers. And so the opportunity that we've had to listen to these stories that these students prepared was pretty awesome and very hard to judge. We had over 50 participants in our district fair, and from that fair there were 27 that were picked to go on to the Weber State Festival. And at the festival, they each got to perform with a national storyteller and one from the state of Utah. And it was pretty cool to go up and see them be just as engaging and have just as much of an audience rapport as these national storytellers. And it was a great opportunity. We also, thanks to some donations from the foundation, sorry, we were able to send several classes from several schools up to watch those, and it was a great opportunity for them. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce, we have Jackson Olson. These three students are from Mountain View Elementary. We have Jackson Olson, who is in, what grade are you in, Jackson? 3rd grade. And then we'll have Miss Esther Benj, who is in 6th grade, right? Awesome. And then Miss Lolly Paul, who is in 3rd grade as well. So I will turn the time over to them.
Elementary in Mrs. Albertoni's class. The story I have chosen today is Stella Farmed. It was another ordinary Monday morning at 9 a.m., precisely when Stella walked into Space Command. She only had one thing on her mind. She wanted to become an astronaut. So she walked up to the man at the desk and asked, "Hello, I'd like to become an astronaut." The man stopped clucking on his keyboard, picked up his cup of coffee, looked up, and splurt! His coffee went everywhere, all over his keyboard. But you're an elephant, he said. "I am," said Stella, holding out her application. "But we've never had an elephant astronaut before." "I know. I would be the first." "But we can't just let an elephant be an astronaut. Just think about what would happen. We'd have all sorts of animals trying to get approval." "But you've sent some other animals to space." "Yes, but those animals were smaller. We don't make spacesuits in your size. So unless you can find a spacesuit, I can't approve your application." So Stella went over and she grabbed her measuring tape and measured. Then she went over to the sewing machine and sewed. And she grabbed her tools and tinkered until finally it was ready. So she asked the man, "Now can I be an astronaut? I'm sorry, but you need to complete basic training. And we're not ready to set up to train elephants. You're too big. Plus, I think you'd break all of our equipment. So unless you can find teachers and equipment, I can't approve your application." So Stella found some teachers, and she'd studied science, and she'd grabbed her weights and strengthened, and she practiced and prepared until finally she was ready. So she asked the man, "Now can I be an astronaut?" "I'm sorry, but you need a rocket, and our rockets aren't built to lift elephants. You're too heavy, and I don't think you would fit through the door, so unless you can find a rocket, I can't approve your application." So Stella went and to the sketching board and she sketched. Then she went over and tested all the pieces, and then she finally assembled until finally it was ready. So she asked the man, "Now can I be an astronaut?" I'm sorry, but you need a crew, and none of our astronauts want to fly with an elephant. They say it's bad luck. They say it's too dangerous. They say something's bound to go wrong. So unless you can find a crew, I can't approve your application." So Stella gathered all of her friends, and together they did the thing Stella did. They all studied science, they all grabbed their weights and strengthened, and they all practiced and prepared until finally they were all ready. So she asked the man, "Now can I be an astronaut?" with her crew, and the man was all out of excuses. So he went to go ask his manager, but his manager didn't know what to do. So the man's manager went to go get his manager, but the manager's manager didn't know what to do, so he went to go get his manager. On and on this went until they ran out of managers, and the only one left was the big boss of Space Command. So they asked him, and they sat at a long table to have a talk about the elephant in the room. Blah, 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 blah. And Stella was thinking, why won't they approve my application? I've got a crew, I've completed basic training, and I got a rocket and suit. They just have to let me be an astronaut. They just have to. Then she realized she did not need their approval. She already had everything she needed. So she went to her crew, they got their spacesuits on, walked onto the launch pad, and over the command speaker went, "T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition! We have liftoff!" And then they're all floating in space, and they go into the Hall of Astronauts. The end.
Jackson, that was amazing. Thank you so much. I think that we'll have all three of our storytellers perform, and then afterwards we'll call you up with your families and take photos after. So thank you, Jackson. And next we're going to have Esther Benj.
Today I will be telling the story of The Nightingale and the Rose by Oscar Wilde, told in my own words. Have you ever heard the call of a nightingale bird? It's a lovely and heartbreaking song, the sound of love, if love had a sound. There once was a young student who fell deeply in love with his professor's daughter, but there was one problem. She said she would only dance with him at the prince's ball if he gave her one red rose. But he grew no red roses in his garden. What shall I do? The student moaned. She asks for a red rose, but I have none to give. From her perch in an oak tree, a nightingale hears him. Here is the one I sing of every nightfall, one who knows and longs for true love. How can I help him? So she flew off with her brown wings, and on her flight she spied a rose tree. What luck! She lit on one of its branches. I will sing you my best song, the nightingale promised to the tree, if you give me one red rose. But the tree shook its head. My roses are white, white like the foam of the sea, whiter than the snow on the snow-capped mountains. My roses aren't red, but you make it what you want from my brother who grows around the old sundial. So the nightingale flew to the rose tree that grew around the old sundial and lit on one of its branches. I will sing you my very best song, the nightingale said, if you give me one red rose. But the tree shook its head. My roses are yellow, yellow like the mermaiden's hair that sits on an amber throne, yellower than the daffodils that grow in the spring. My roses aren't red, but you may get what you want from my brother who grows under the student's window. So the nightingale flew to the rose tree that grew under the student's window and lit on one of its branches. I will sing you my very, very best song, the nightingale promised, if you give me one red rose. But the tree shook its head. My roses are red, but my branches have been bitten by the frost, and I can grow roses no more. Please, begged the nightingale. Well, there is one way, but it's much too gruesome to tell. Please, pleaded the nightingale again. I'll do anything. So the tree sighed and started to explain. At night, you must take a rose thorn and pierce your chest while singing your sweetest song. The moon will listen and grow a rose from your heart blood. Well, said the nightingale, that seems much too high a price for a red rose, but if love is better than life, this must be the only way to do it. So she flew off to go make the student promise that he would never forget his love for the maiden. But he didn't understand her, for he only understood what was written in books. That evening, the nightingale did exactly as the tree had told her to do. She pierced her chest with a rose thorn and sang her very best. Press harder, little nightingale, said the rose, or the day will come before the rose is finished. So the nightingale pressed even harder and sang even louder. The sun started to rise, and a rose started to grow from the tree's branches, but the nightingale didn't stop to look. She kept singing, and once the sun was high in the sky, she gave out her last cry of song. And she fell to the ground, a thorn through her breast. Well, it was officially day, and the student looked out his window and saw the rose. What luck, he exclaimed. He grabbed it and rushed to the professor's house. He offered it to the maiden. Now will you dance with me, he asked. But the maiden shook her head. The chamberlain's nephew already gave me jewels, and everyone knows that diamonds are far more expensive than any rose. Besides, it won't match my ball gown. The student stopped. Well, I think you're very ungrateful. And he threw the rose into the gutter, where it was run over by a cartwheel. He had broken his promise to the nightingale. Thank you.
Esther, that was wonderful. A beautiful story. And you had to whistle there, too. That's an extra talent that you shared with us. So thank you. Okay, and now we have Lolly.
Hello, my name is Lolly Paul. I'm in 3rd grade at Mountain View Elementary. This is my true story titled Family Business. Once, on a cold December morning, I was having the time of my life. at our annual Santa Claus party. And there are about 15 million people in this small house. Okay, 15 million-ish. And when there are 15 million-ish people, and half of them are kids, the basement gets to be a mess. I went down there just to go check it out, and it was a disaster. Barbies from here to Africa and play clothes, play utensils, play food, play everything. And all the kids were just sitting in the mess, so I decided to do that too. But pretty soon, I heard Uncle Gary come down the stairs. Thump, 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 thump. Look at this mess, Lolly. You have to clean it up since you're the oldest down here. I said, yes, sir, because no one refuses Uncle Gary. But I was so tired, I just needed a break. My eyes scanned the room and focused on a little 4-year-old. Her name was Evie. Hey, Evie, come over here.
Yes, Lolly?
How do you feel about cleaning?
What's it to ya?
How about I give you 10 juniors to clean the whole basement by yourself?
Make it 20 and you got yourself a deal.
Okay, 20 junior mints. We shook hands on it. I curled up on the couch and took a nice long shh, shh. Next thing I know, tap, tap, tap.
Lolly, the basement's all done.
I'll be the judge of that. I took out my white glove and got my magnifying glass and inspected for play clothes, Barbies, dust. Wow, 4-year-olds are pretty good cleaners. Another little tap, tap, tap on my shoulder.
Now, Lolly, it's time to pay up.
Okay. I counted out 20 junior mints. I don't even know if 4-year-olds can count to 20, but I was honest. We shook hands and Evie said, nice doing business with you. See you next family party, and next time bring ice cream. With sprinkles. And that, my friends, is how you work smarter, not harder.
Wow. Lolly, good job. Good job. All three of you did such an amazing job. Okay, let's have, we're going to take some photos. So let's have Jackson come up. And where's Jackson? Do you have family with you? Do you want them to come up and you can introduce who they are? And in the meantime, we have Ms. Barber who's going to give you a plaque for your performance. So if Jackson wants to come up with his family, then we'll take some photos. And while you're coming up, let's give him another round of applause. Just a few times. We know that it takes a lot of help from the families. One more. Great job. Thank you, Jackson. Okay, Esther. Where did Esther go? Do you have family with you? Just your mom. She's probably your greatest helper, right? Wow, you guys did an amazing job. Thank you, Esther. Okay, and Lolly? Who do you have with you tonight, Lolly? Your mom and dad. Awesome. Yeah, good old mom and dad. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Yeah. Thank you, Jackson, Esther, and Lolly, and their families. We know it takes a lot of extra help, and they've been working really hard. That's pretty evident. And thank you to Mountain View Elementary. They're growing storytellers there at Mountain View. Thank you so much. Okay, we are going to begin with our public comment period. And at the start of every business meeting, we encourage, by the way, if you are welcome to leave our exciting meeting if you would like to. But you can stay too. We have some other good stuff coming up and maybe some boring stuff. So thank you for being with us. At the start of every business meeting, we encourage and welcome members of our community to give a public comment. We do love to hear from you. And this is reserved for those who reside within Davis County or work in Davis School District. And the sign up has been out in the hall with your contact information, and that's prior to this meeting. And you'll be called up one by one to speak. And this is not an opportunity to air complaints or comments about individual student education issues, bidding, contracts, or other issues related to employment for which other avenues of communication exist. Derogatory comments about district employees or board members will not be allowed, and we will treat everyone with dignity, respect, and kindness, and we expect you do the same for us. So each speaker will be given 2 minutes to give their comment, and that will be timed, and you'll be given notice that your time is up. And we want you to know that we are listening, and we are taking notes, and there will be follow-up. So it looks like we just have one signed up for public comment tonight, and that's Brittany Roberts. So we'll ask Ms. Roberts to come to the podium.
President Gerard, Superintendent Linford, and School Board. My name is Brittany Roberts. I am an educator at Northridge High School. I teach chemistry, CE Introduction to Theater, and I'm an instructional coach. I am currently a Davis Teacher Leader Fellow, and as part of the fellowship, we get to choose a project. For my project, I have chosen to facilitate teachers celebrating their classroom in the public comment portion of board meeting. I figured if I was going to ask other teachers to do this, I should go first. One of the most important things to do as a teacher is to build relationships with students. But one thing I have found is the importance of students also building relationships with their peers. This year, I tried random seating every day to build a better classroom community. I have a student who has an IEP for crippling anxiety. I have witnessed this student come alive in table group conversations, consistently sharing their knowledge and thought process with their peers. I don't think this would have been accomplished without the intentional community building. Frequently this year, I have had counselors and administrators approach me about how I have engaged individual students to find success in my class. As I have reflected on this, I believe this is attributed to the belief I hold that every student can do science. I believe in every student by having high expectations, but also providing a path and scaffolds for students to rise to the high expectations. I have found students that have historically struggled in school need to taste success to motivate them to try. I meet students where their academic skills are at and honor their growth in their individual academic journey. You would see this in my class with the success of special education students, including students who are in the special programs classification, and the success of multilingual learners. I honor that failure is a large part of the learning process, and I help students learn from mistakes. I am innovative in my classroom and adapting to new tools. I have loved the challenge of AI. Skillstruck and Magic School have been instrumental in teaching students how to use AI in a productive and appropriate way. I invite any of you to come to my classroom and to ask me any questions. Thank you for all that you do, and I look forward to hearing other teachers celebrate their classrooms.
Thank you so much, Ms. Roberts. We appreciate you sharing those with us. Appreciate you being here. Okay. We have board recognition also tonight, some really exciting things. And I want Mr. Dave Tanner to come up and introduce these young men.
Thank you, President Gerard. Wonderful school board, Superintendent Linford. I'm just going to introduce the two old men first, and then I'll have them introduce the young men. But Principal Brock Jackman, come on up, and Mr. Fager. And bring your team up here. I'm just going to turn a moment over to Principal Jackman to introduce his coach and the coach, perhaps some of the players and some of the highlights of this year. And this is not their first time here. They have consistently had amazing success in the wrestling program and 6A state champions this year in the wrestling program. So thank you very much. Go ahead.
So Coach Adam Fager's developed a great program at Layton High School. This is their third consecutive championship. And they just got back from an invitational several of our athletes did, and we had 6 All-Americans named from our wrestling team and many, many others very close to it. But I'll turn the time over to Coach Fager and have him talk a little bit about the team.
Thank you for having us. It's fun coming back. But there's a lot of great things about our program and our team. I think one of the key things that stand out to me is we brought our captains here, and these young men make the difference. We have each one of them were state placers. Noah and Eli were 2 of our 5 state champs this year. Cole made the finals, Cole Fenwick, and he is also at Layton. It's more rare to be a 4-time state placer than it is to be a multiple-time state champ, and he joined the ranks there. He's number 13 out of all the history of Layton High School to place in state 4 times. That's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. Porter Bacleon also placed in state this year. He broke through. He didn't ever do that before, but he led the team, and I think he would probably say the leadership kind of helped him get there. My leaders on my team, they put a lot of extra time and effort in above and beyond what I even require of my own, everyone else on my team. We do weekly meetings talking about our team and our needs, and do leadership trainings with them, and so that they're well-rounded individuals and able to have a strong impact on the culture of our team from the top to the bottom. So that's some of the best things that I think we have going for us. A lot more important than any trophy that we get or any medals. So yeah.
Well, congratulations, Layton High Wrestling. This is a huge accomplishment. And yeah, you're right, Coach. You've been here before, haven't you? So thank you so much for being here. And we have a plaque for you.
Good.
And Superintendent Linford has a comment as well.
Maybe this is an indulgence. I want to thank you guys for the work and for representing Davis School District so well. It was Dan Gable that said, once you've wrestled, everything else in life is easy. And as a former mediocre wrestler myself, and my boys wrestled, I know that's true. Guys, that's not just a thing to say. That's true. So good work. Love your coach. He's made a difference in some of my family's life, and really, really an important sport for building character and integrity and hard work. So congratulations.
Yes. This is a tough sport, isn't it? I haven't wrestled, but he has, so he knows.
It's pretty fun. We like to do
Looks hard to me. Okay, do you have some of your family members here with you? If there are any family members here with these wrestlers, if you would like to come up, and you can get in the photo too, and you'll have to wrestle each other to see who gets this plaque. I don't know. Okay, wow. What a great night for Davis School District. Okay, we have another great group over here, and Mr. Tanner is going to come up and introduce these girls.
You know, I was just going to say the same thing. This is a wonderful opportunity for Davis School District
Yes.
to have 3 state championship teams that we're recognizing this evening. And next we'll have Bountiful High School, their girls 5A state champions for the state of Utah. So we'll have Principal Warnick and
Yeah.
his coach, looks like Boogs here, Boogs Stringfield and the girls. So come on up. Turn some time over to Principal Warnick.
President Gerard, Vice President, and Superintendent Linford, and the board, thanks for having us tonight. This is the crew. Not only 5A state champions, but back-to-back state champions. Yeah. And not only back-to-back state champions, back-to-back-to-back state champions. Wow. So bravo. Turn around and face them too, because they're the cool people.
Yes.
The coolest thing that I can tell you is when I had a conversation with Coach Burton, and I'll have him come and talk, he calls their practice sessions his therapy. It's his thing he looks forward to the most, because they're not just good basketball players. They are great kids. They like each other. They have great grades. And it's his release to be able to coach them. And that speaks volumes to who they are on and off the court. And I could not be more proud of a group of athletes. So I'm going to have Coach Burton just say something really quick, and thank you.
I was going to say I'm not known for really quick, so I can ramble for a while. Honestly, it's been such an honor to get to coach, period, but then to coach at Bountiful and have a great 17 years that I've been there and plan on continuing that. But this last 3 years have been really, really special because most of this group has been part of those 3 years. And so, I mean, it was interesting when we had a KSL there doing a football game. They asked our kids to come do a little bit of a preview thing and asked them to bring their rings, and couldn't believe all the rings that they had, and the sponsor or showing those the wins and stuff that they have. It's been incredible. I heard one of the announcers talking that this group in the last 3 years, their record is 90-10.
Wow.
And so I mean that's pretty darn impressive. So I'm just honored to be their coach and get to work with them. Like Travis was saying, they're a lot better people than they are basketball players, and they're great basketball players. So thank you.
Okay, turn around this way and let everyone. Oh.
Go ahead.
Do you want to tell your names real quick? Is that real quick?
I'm Milika Setswell. I'm Mayara Hale. I'm Dylan Carpenter. I'm Adelaide Smith. I'm Isabel Hall. I'm Morgan Rogers. I'm Anna Larson. I'm Aaliyah Nelson. I'm Abby Oram. I'm Charlotte Johnson.
Awesome. Great job, girls. Okay, I know this takes, years of work, right? And you have to have the support of your families too. So do you have family members here that want to come up and we'll take a photo, and Miss Mercer has a plaque for you guys. And I see this big one that you're holding. That is impressive. Good job. Okay, if you want to go down and go down by your principal there, we'll take photos, and Miss Mercer will give you the plaque. This is outstanding. Wow. Congratulations, Bountiful champions, state champions. Thanks for being with us tonight. Thanks, families, for being with us. That is impressive. And we have one more. So And I see them standing over there in the corner, and they're excited to come up here. Ms. Chadley Bodley is going to introduce our next group from Davis.
Yeah, I asked Rick, because Rick hasn't had the opportunity to introduce the school yet. David and I schools are making it happen, Rick. But we're excited to be here today. We have Davis High School's boys basketball team, and I'm going to turn it over to Principal Dr. Lori Hawthorne.
There she
and then
is.
she's going to introduce Chad Sims, Coach Chad Sims. But I will say this. Coaching is a lot of things, but I've never watched somebody coach and use their timeouts more meaningfully than Coach Sims did on some of those games. So he did an excellent job, too.
So this is Davis High School's 9th, I believe, state basketball title, and the
Wow.
last one was with Coach Sims in the 21-22 season. I just want to take a moment to recognize Coach Sims and his staff of dedicated professionals who see these young men as much more than athletes. They have high expectations for their players in terms of academics and behavior on and off the court. During this season, you would never know it because they're very humble men, but during this season, Coach Sims surpassed the 200-win mark, and Coleman Atwater, one of our seniors, surpassed the 1,000-point mark in his high school career.
Wow.
Basketball is one of the sports that is played over the course of both second term and third term in the academic year. In the second term, the team's GPA was 3.75, with 7 players earning a 4.0. In the third term, the team's GPA was 3.73, with 8 players earning a 4.0. And the cumulative GPA for this team is 3.75, and 4 players have a perfect 4.0 in their academic career. I'd like to thank Coach Sims for his dedication, professionalism, and continual quest to positively impact everything and everyone in his sphere of influence. At this time, it's my pleasure to present Chad Sims, along with the coaching staff and the players of this year's 6A UHSAA Men's Basketball State Championship team.
You guys supposed to part, or what are we doing?
Yeah.
Maybe? I don't know.
Oh, that's perfect.
We're hoping to have back-to-back-to-back. I
Yeah.
feel like we're the odd group here, right? We want back-to-back-to-back championships. But we want to just thank Dr. Hawthorne for her support. The secondary director, Chadley, was great. Part of the process of the team we wanted to become, they had to be supportive and give us the vote when we want to travel a little bit. Some of those experiences are special. Thank the school board for you guys' support. We felt it. We want to, and Superintendent Linford for sure, right? Yes. And we had a special year. I want to just point out the difference that I saw with this team than from some of the other teams I've coached is the senior leadership was off the charts this year. They included everybody. They knew who they were representing, our school and our community and our school district, and a lot of compliments from the teams we played against, and just the way they carried themselves. I was really proud of that. And then if you can win a championship along with that, it kind of validates the efforts that go into it. So really proud of these guys. If it's okay with you guys, I actually asked Bryker, one of our senior captains, if he'd just say a couple things. There's a little joke. He always has something to say. So
Okay.
but he's really good at it. So go ahead. Is it okay if Bryker
Yes,
says a
for
couple-
sure,
okay.
for sure.
Thank you. We appreciate your support.
I'll just keep it brief for you guys, but we just wanted to say big thank you to Davis School District for your guys' support. We're really proud of how hard we worked to get here, but we know that we couldn't have done it alone, and your guys' support throughout the season and in the state tournament was unmatched, and so we're just grateful for that support, and we just want to say a big thank you to you guys. So appreciate it.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. This is, again, another huge accomplishment. This is a historic night for Davis School District with all these state championships. And I wanted to say congratulations also, not on just your athletic ability, but your academic ability. That's wonderful. Can you just say your names really quick? Because I've been watching you and I want to know who's who. Real fast.
Justin Brockman, Coleman Atwater.
Great job, young man. Wow. You guys had some exciting games, I have to say. So thanks for making it fun to watch you. So congratulations, Davis High basketball team. Champions, state champs. Okay, Ms. Powell has a plaque for you, and if you'll come over here. Do we have any family members that came to watch tonight? If you would like to come up too. And of course, Ms. Hawthorne. Thank you, Coach Sims. Thanks, boys. Thanks for being with us. It's okay if you guys don't want to stay for our meeting. Nope, guess they don't.
Can I add something to this? And I don't want to be color commentary all night long, but 3 state championships is, if I'm doing the math right, that's way more than our fair share. So Davis District's doing well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a historic night and historic year for our sports teams. Wow, great job. Okay, on with our meeting. So we have committee reports, and I have one from Utah School Board Association. Just wanted to be brief and say thank you for attending the region meetings, and we appreciated our board members and board members from across the state, their input on topics to discuss with our legislators at the interim meetings. And the top priority seems to be the Utah Fits All Scholarship. So we'll be talking about that and the accountability for those funds with our legislators. Utah Loves Public Schools is a new 501(c) actively promoting public education in Utah by advocating for policies that support well-funded, high-quality public schools. And so Utah School Board Association supports this group and the work that they're doing. And we work with our policymakers and educators and all those that support public education. So I wanted to make you aware of that. And yes, the legislative session is over, but we want to stay engaged legislatively, and we had a great report from our superintendency, and they've been so great to be involved in legislation. So things that all of us can do is stay connected with our legislators, engage with our communities, build strong coalitions, monitor the implementation. That's a big job of our district leaders to implement these new laws that are passed, and prepare for the next session. So the JLC committee will be meeting in April and May and getting ready for the next session already and for our delegate assembly. The Joint Legislative Committee, and you know who that is, most of you. So it's school board members, superintendents, and business administrators from throughout the state meet together, and we had to move away from the Capitol to have our meetings because of all the construction going on, but it's going to be done, and so the JLC meeting will go back to the Capitol next year because we have a room that all of us can fit in. And I mentioned the letter sent to Governor Cox about SB 37, asking for a veto on that. So that's all I had on that. DTC report. I represent our board, Davis School District, on the Board of Trustees at the Davis Technical College, and we had a meeting this week. And we are grateful for this outstanding partner we have in education at the Davis Technical College. DTC is projecting 8,000 students this year. And just for your information, that will make DTC the 5th largest technical college in the nation. So that's pretty impressive. A new program will be added in 2026, and that will be control systems and robotics. And we had a couple of bills that connect us to DTC. One was HB 260, and that's about credentialing. And that is important because that represents a collaboration between Davis Technical College and Davis School District and provides for the awarding of the first credential program certificates and scholarships to students and those first credential grants to LEAs like us. And then you've heard about this already tonight, but HB 447, the statewide Catalyst campus model, and that creates a grant program to LEAs like us in creating or expanding Catalyst centers across the state. And you may recognize that name because that's our name for our school. And LEAs, local education agencies, may collaborate with the system of higher education, and that includes Davis Tech. And as I said, collaboration between Davis Tech and Davis School District is very important, and we're very grateful for that partnership. And we just work together for the benefit of our students. So grateful for DTC and their leadership and our leadership working together. And that's all I had, but we have Emily Price, our board vice president, is going to report on the Davis Education Foundation.
Okay, I'm just going to give an update. On February 11th, we had 300 students from our 10 high schools compete in the unified basketball competition. And it was a great event. I think most of you were able to attend. And we want to thank the Murdoch Family Foundation for providing the funding for this incredible day of belonging. And on February 21st and I think 28th, Northridge High School and Davis High School received the National Banner School Recognition Award. And I wasn't able to attend Northridge, but I was able to attend Davis, and it was a great opportunity to see their team play, and it was just really fun. First Lady Abby Cox was in attendance as well. On March 12th, 13th, and 14th, our teams competed in the regional competition at the University of Utah. And so Woods Cross, Bountiful, Syracuse, Clearfield, and Northridge all won their bracket and qualified for the state unified tournament on March 28th. And that will be at the Delta Center. And times are still to come for that game, for those games. So I'll keep you guys updated on that if you're interested in attending. And then an additional recognition for our district is 4 of our teams have qualified for the random drawing to attend an all-expense paid trip to compete at the USA Games for Special Olympics in June of 2026. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see if Davis District is selected for that. And we have a snowshoeing event for elementary school students, a unified snowshoeing. It's been rescheduled for this Thursday, and it's going to be at the Solitude Nordic and Snowshoe Center, and it will begin at 10 a.m., and you are all invited to join in the fun there. And then we've had our Excellence in Education Awards. We had the Farmington Cluster at the end of February and the Davis Cluster on the 7th of this month. And the foundation was able to honor 8 of our most outstanding teachers for their excellence in teaching. And these teachers are selected based on their test score data. And we want to thank the Murdoch Family Foundation for sponsoring that as well. And it's just a great opportunity to recognize our teachers who are making such a big difference with our students. On March 4th, we honored Carrie Harrison from Bountiful Elementary School with the Heidi Martin Mighty Heart of Education Award. And it was an incredible morning to celebrate her. And she does great work with belonging, kindness, and caring. And she's been really, she's put forth a lot of effort. She's the counselor at the school, and she's put in a lot of effort to help with that belonging and inclusion in their school. And we're excited to see how she and the school utilize the $10,000 that she was awarded. And then just a few things to put on your calendar. On April 16th, we'll have a partner thank you breakfast at the Catalyst Center. So if you'd like to attend that and invite friends. Okay. Yeah, you can invite some friends if you have friends that you think would be interested in being part of the Davis Education Foundation and helping in those efforts. On May 15th, we'll have the Teacher of the Year Car Award. And then on June 4th, we'll have our Lights, Camera, Action, which is our annual gala. And that's always a really fun event. And I want to turn the time over really quickly to, is Adrienne here? Okay, to Adrienne Jones. She is going to introduce one of our residents of our Teen Living Center. We're going to get a little bit of update on the Teen Living Center and just the impact that it's already having on our students.
Thank you for having me here tonight, school board. This is so not who I am. I'm not emotional or anything like that, except for, I think I just heard somebody that I work with chuckle back there because this is what I've turned into since I took this job. And I'm extremely humbled to be here tonight. And the first thing I want to do is thank the Davis School District Board for the support of the Teen Living Center, because it's one of the best decisions that you as a school board have made. And I'm sure you've made a lot of really great decisions, but this is one of the best ones that you've made. There were some really great kids standing up here tonight with some really incredible achievements. And I have the opportunity to come to work every single day. And it's not really a job, it's an incredible privilege that I have that is called a job, to come and see kids who had to learn how to fight for a place to live and food first, and then all of the other things like academics and sports and things like that. And one of the kids who is here tonight, who is near and dear to my heart, and I won't get too mushy over that, but he's incredible. His name is Raul Perez, and he came several hours before he was supposed to come and just knocked on the door, and I answered the door and I didn't know who he was yet, and he said, "Hey, my name's Raul." Like I was supposed to know who he is and what he was doing there, but just, "Hey, my name's Raul." And I said, "Oh, hey, come on in." And he's been incredible ever since then, but I want you to hear that from him instead of me. So Raul has spent, come on up here, kiddo. Oh, he's right here. Kiddo, he's taller and bigger than me, but he spent a lot of time putting thought and effort into his words tonight, and I asked him to send it to me last night so I could, you know, make some corrections and suggestions, and he didn't need me to do a thing for it. So
all right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm a senior at Mountain High School, and I've been at the Teen Center since last October. I want to take a moment to thank each of you for the role you played in making this facility possible. I'm here today to tell you how my life has changed since receiving the opportunities and support that this place has given me. Before arriving here in October, I was homeless for 2 weeks, staying at a friend's house, unsure of what was next. I didn't have anywhere to go and was unsure where I was going to sleep, what I was going to eat, how I was going to pay for my medical bills, and perhaps most importantly, if there was any way I could still graduate high school. When I brought these concerns up to my school counselor, she mentioned that a place in Layton had recently just opened to house and aid homeless teens in Davis School District. I was relieved to hear that there was somewhere I could focus on my studies without having to worry about my basic necessities. When I came to the facility, I didn't just find a place to sleep. I found a place who genuinely cared about my well-being and my future. From day one, the staff helped me get back into school, provided hygiene products, and most importantly, supported me in getting sober. They worked with me to improve my grades, helped me switch schools to a better environment, and even helped me set up doctor appointments. Little by little, they guided me towards independence, helping me see that I had a future beyond just surviving day to day. Some of the most meaningful moments I've experienced here weren't just about academics or stability, but about knowing that I wasn't alone. When I had my school band concert, the staff showed up to support me. When I had a surgery for a blood clot that I've been dealing with for nearly 10 months, they were there in a way that I'll never forget. Those moments showed me that I was more than just another case. They showed me that I mattered. Because of this facility, I'm on track to graduate. I'm 6 months sober. I'm not just thinking about the next day, I'm planning for my future. I'm preparing to attend Weber State, something I never thought was possible before. More than anything, I've learned how to advocate for myself and take charge of my life. I am incredibly thankful, not just for the roof over my head, but for the people who come and help, for the people that make donations, clean, or even just install a shelf. It might seem like small acts, but together they've helped create a home. And to the staff who I've come to know and love, you have shaped my future in ways I can't put words into. To all of you who made this facility possible, please know that what you've done isn't just about providing shelter. You have changed the direction of my life. You have given me and so many others the chance to build a better future. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Your work matters, and because of you, I am ready to take the next steps in life.
I have to tell you before I sit down that we had 4 seniors come to us at the beginning of the year, and all 4 seniors are on track to graduate. They've all been cleared with graduation credits. They all have scholarships and are planning to attend college in the fall. And they're all, they don't all just have passing grades. Raul has straight A's right now. And we have one of our students has a 4.0 average right now. So thank you, members of the Davis School District. Thank you for your support.
Raul, I just want to tell you thank you so much for being courageous enough to share your story with us. You have really touched our hearts, and it was just great opportunity to hear from you, and we're just so happy for you that you're doing so well, and grateful to have had some small part in that, and so grateful for those that came with you tonight and all that they have done to help you, and we wish you the best of luck, and I can tell you're going to have a very successful life. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Okay. Now that we're all worked up emotionally, time for our board reports. So we'll just start down at this end with Ms. Barber.
That's really hard to follow.
Yes, yes, it is. Yes,
I was not ready.
Hard to follow. Yeah.
That was really awesome. It's fun to hear those stories, and sometimes we don't hear them till graduation, so it's kind of fun to hear mid-year. I did some fun things and supported and other ideas. The board reminded me that I get to talk about my annual polar plunge that I represented on. You're welcome, you all. I missed the rest of the board, but maybe next year. I really am sure I'm going to get you guys there. But anyway, it was fun. I went and I supported Northridge, and then my daughter and I plunged with the Davis High School time. And it was fun to raise some money for Unified Sports Best. It was a really fun use for that. And then attended a lot of the things Emily referred to. I won't repeat all of those. One thing that I wanted to focus on was it's been really fun to go to community council meetings. Those are my favorite. And as a parent, both as a board member, it's my favorite to go as they put together their land trust plans and actually see the things that are going to impact the schools and funds that are actually available. It's so refreshing to go in and be able to fund something. And I always say I was on PTA and I love PTA, but then you go to community council, you actually have money to spend. Like actually, you don't have to use box tops or whatever. So anyway, I love those at community council, and it's gonna be fun to be reviewing those plans and just working with schools on that. Amendment B was awesome because we had even more money to spend, which is also rare in education. So it was just a really good year for that, and to look back at the way we're focusing on academic goals for each school. So that was my report.
Thank you. Ms. Mercer.
I also went to the polar plunge and held a teacher's baby instead of jumping in the water.
Smart.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that portion and let
next year.
Yeah,
next
Ms.
year.
Barber do the jumping
next
in.
year.
I also attended several of the events that Ms. Price mentioned, and I wanted to point out the Heidi Martin Award. That the recipient of that award was a school counselor that is very dear and near to our family, that really made a difference in our child's life. So it was very special to be able to attend that. I also attended the multicultural showcase at Woods Cross that had the entire cluster that came to that, which was a fun, exciting event with so many different cultures represented. But I also want to point out how impressed I was that I love that we got elementary school students into the high school. And I think that is such a wonderful way to introduce them to see the vision of where they will be in the future. It has been a little while since we've given a board report.
It has.
And so I was going through my list, and I have done 7 school visits in that time. So I visited South Davis Junior High, which is also one of our home schools. And I want to comment that I think one of the most wonderful things about South Davis is that, and I heard this continually when I was knocking doors and talking to people, that South Davis is a place where students feel welcome. And I think being able to do that in junior high is so important. I went to Bountiful Elementary, where I saw the implementation and practice of the Schools Cubed program, which I really enjoyed learning about, and I was impressed by the principal's ability to balance the rigor and detail of that with also knowing the individual personalities of her teachers. I went to Foxborough Elementary, where I learned more about dual immersion programs, and I ate school lunch, which I really enjoyed, and had fun sitting with the students to eat school lunch. I went to Bountiful High School, and where I was especially impressed with their high levels of enrollment in AP classes. I was really impressed with that at Bountiful High. I went to Odyssey Elementary, where one of their prep classes that they're doing currently is a fun math prep class, which was really, I sat in on it in the 3rd grade fun math prep class, and I had fun doing math, which was impressive. I also went to Valley View Elementary, where I saw, and I also saw Foxborough's school play, which was super fun. And then I went to Valley View Elementary, where I got to see their school play, Moana, which I was so impressed with, and their DEEP program, which I really enjoyed. And then just earlier this week, I was at Adelaide, where I was really impressed with their strong literacy push and the strong relationship that the students had with their teachers. We have so many amazing schools in our area, and I was so grateful to be able to spend half a day at each of these schools, and look forward to spending more time at these schools.
Okay, Ms. Hogan. Thank you, Ms. Mercer.
Okay. I think there's a theme, because I just wanted to talk about a few of the community council meetings I went to in the schools. Just to give you an update on some of the schools in my area and how wonderful they're doing. North Davis Junior High, I was really impressed because they showed me their chronic absenteeism. In 2021 to 2022, which was right after COVID, they were at 40%. The next year, they were down to 22%. And the 2023-2024, they are down to 18% in their absenteeism. So that was a big accomplishment for North Davis. Syracuse Junior High, they have incredible goals for both English and math. And their big focus is on the 9th graders to go into high school without being behind at all in their path to graduation. So that's their big focus. Bluff Ridge Elementary has a very involved community with their parents, And one of my favorite things about that school is right when you walked in, there's a vending machine of books that they have right there in the front. And I think that they get tokens to buy those books in their classrooms. Then Sunburst Elementary, I like their culture goal is that every student can identify one way they contribute to the school culture. So they're having the kids understand why they are important, why they are helping their school. And then Ellison Park. They're improving their reading by 5% from the previous year and their math by 3% from the previous year. And they were able to put that up and show exactly how they're doing on that goal. And then lastly, I went to a school visit to Centerville Elementary, where we honored the kindergarten teacher, Nancy Bittner, who you could tell she was a great kindergarten teacher because I've never seen a better, more well-behaved kindergarten class. And they all loved her, but they also sang a song to tell us goodbye at the end. So you knew that she cared more about the students than that we were there making a fuss about her. You could tell she cared more about the students. And then I just wanted to mention that last night I popped on the virtual open house for the ELA that the school district has chosen for adoption. It's My Perspectives, and that was very informative, and looking forward to more discussions about that going forward.
Thank you, Ms. Hogan. Ms.
All right.
Price.
Yeah, in addition to all the unified sports activities that we had going on this last month, I had the opportunity to go to cheer nationals in California. My daughter's a cheerleader, and but most of our high schools in the district were there and competed. Not all, but most. And it was the first time I've been able to do that, and it was really exciting. And my daughter's JV team, they were able to take third place in their show cheer routine, and the whole team took second in their band chant. So anyway, those are things that you're like, I don't know what that means, but if you're involved in cheer, then you do. But anyway, that was really exciting to be able to go and do that and support my daughter and her high school. But like I said, we had other schools represented there in our district, and I had an opportunity to go to San Francisco, and we did a bond rating presentation to Moody's, and Tim informed us tonight that we are retaining our current bond rating, which is good news. So, and then track season has started, and so I'm going to be going to a lot of track meets and just seeing the students in our district compete and just accomplish some great things.
Thank you, Ms. Price. Okay, yeah, we've talked about a lot of stuff, so I don't want to repeat, but yeah, the Heidi Martin Award, the Unified Sports Assemblies have been incredible. Love those. Maybe just a little shout out that I want to give to our OEO department, Dr. Montero and his team. And I so appreciate the work that they are doing. And the Belonging Council, grateful for our community members that join us on that Belonging Council and all the great work that they're contributing with. And to go along with that, the Priority Schools training, that was wonderful to hear and to meet with some of the principals and hear what they're doing in their schools to improve their culture. Always love the musical performances. I've been to a couple of the junior high, Fairfield and Centerville, and always love those. I did have the opportunity to meet with our teacher leader fellows on March 4th. And this is just an amazing group of teachers led by Allison Riddle and her team. And they are just working on becoming these master teachers and improving their skills and getting involved in the community. And I'm so impressed. And you heard from Brittany Roberts tonight in her comment. But when I met with them, they were heading down to the Capitol to interact with our legislators. So just appreciate this amazing group of educators, and attended an amazing Shake event held at Tolman Elementary Monday, and I always love those. I love the skills that our young people are learning at those. And I did a lot of school visits and got input from our administrators on the needs that they have. And we have amazing, amazing administrators in our district, some of whom are right here. Just so appreciate them. And lastly, I attended Layton Community That Cares meeting for the key leaders, and they're doing some great things. They hosted a Hispanic night at Layton High that was very successful, and this CTC group will work with our community schools to do summer learning programs, so that's exciting. And the Layton CTC and probably others, I'm guessing, are helping to fund sober celebrations with their high school graduation parties, and I know that that's much appreciated. The Layton CTC is offering mini grants, $400 to $500 to Layton schools. Anyone interested in reviewing the SHARP survey data results and finding the best ways to support students and their families, and also focusing on substance use abuse prevention, particularly vaping. So that's what the CTC has been up to. Okay, Ms. Powell.
Hey, had a lot of committee meetings. It's policy, audit, sensitive material meetings. Also went to the Heidi Martin Awards. That was a treat. Utah School Board regional meeting. There's a few of us that showed up at the Brigham City. We had a big Davis representation, which was kind of fun. I also watched some of you guys probably know the Utah School Board Association has webinars, policy webinars.
Yes.
Which I found helpful. And you can go on their website and if you've missed them. They do it the first Wednesday at 11.
11 to 11:30.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're really short,
Yeah.
but I find them helpful. And then you can go back and watch them if you missed them. They're all on their website. And watch some of the pre-JLC meetings, even though I wasn't a delegate. But trying to keep up with all the legislative stuff has been interesting. Just wanted to thank everybody for watching those audit modules. They're super fun to watch. And anyway, as audit chair, I went in and updated our website. By law, we have to do certain things. And so now we have Ide Bailey, who is our internal auditor for the school board. Their contact information's on there. And then next meeting, we're going to work on approving our topics. We've got to publish the topics that we audit and publish them by law on our school board website. So we'll be working on that. And if you guys have any suggestions, let us know or let me know or anyone on audit committee. And that's it.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Powell. Okay, Ms. Stevens, and you guys get ready down there. We'll talk about that after Ms. Stevens gives her report.
I'll be brief. I feel like I've joined in a lot of what else has been done, and it's just always great just being out in the schools and the events that are held to see how they are focused on how we can help our students be successful and have a positive educational experience. Some highlights, I also went to the multicultural event, which I loved. I loved seeing how many schools were involved in that. Their whole cluster was there, and just hearing about the ways that they try to involve, like Ms. Mercer said, the elementary schools and the junior highs and getting them into the high school, and also bringing their community together in such a positive way where they are all cheering for each other and getting a taste of what the different cultures are. That was really neat. And I also went to the PTA Battle of the Bands competition, which was really fun, and also seeing all the different bands from the different high schools go and have their fans show up for them. It's really fun and loud. I don't know that I've recovered, but it's great. And then just as I have concerns come to me from my constituents, I feel like people have asked me, how are things going with the school board? How are you liking it? And I feel like it's really been a positive experience for me to go to Superintendent Linford or people in the superintendency with these concerns and ask for explanations or the thought behind the decisions that have been made, and that it always is a very thoughtful process that focuses on our students and what is best for them. And I just want to thank you for that work, and I think you see it at the level of the superintendency, but also in our local schools, how what we saw tonight with that one student, that I think almost every student in our school district could come and share how they've had a positive experience. I mean, and that's what we're working for. And so, sorry, I'm getting a little emotional talking about it, but
okay.
I just am really, really grateful to be a part of this school district.
Thank you, Ms. Stevens. Appreciate that. It is a great school district. Okay, as I said before, we're so excited to have Ms. Cassidy Stevens and Ms. Emmy Bowen with us tonight. So we're going to give them some time. And if you would tell us a little bit about yourselves, too, and then give your report from Great Viewmont High School, that would be wonderful.
Awesome. So I'm Cassidy Stevens. I'm the SBO president currently at Viewmont High School. A little bit about me. I'm a senior and just with a busy schedule, taking lots of CE classes and just busy at lots of events. I'm a member on the Student Advisory Council for the district, and I'm also a member of Viewmont High School's Multicultural Advisory Council. I've participated in choir on various aspects in our throughout all of my high school years. Also participating in some of our things that bring other groups together, such as our symphony chorus group. I'm planning to attend BYU in Provo in the fall.
I'm Emmy Bowen. I am the senior class publicity officer, so basically I run the Instagram account and get people going to events. A little bit about me. I am the tennis captain. I play tennis. I love tennis. I've played all 4 years of high school. I will be attending UVU in the fall, so I will also be in Provo. But yeah, like Cass said, we attend 3 events a week. It's a busy schedule, but we love it. And yeah, that's about it.
Yeah. So do you want me to go?
Yes,
from there?
yes. Keep going.
Perfect. So at Viewmont this year, our theme is every Viking, every victory, every voice. So for us, this means that we want an environment in which students and staff know that every Viking matters, every victory is celebrated, and every voice is heard. We've been able to do this by focusing on some of the key components of a high reliability school that some of you discussed in an earlier meeting that we weren't there for. For us, this meant creating a safe, supportive, and collaborative environment, a collaborative culture at Viewmont High School.
Yeah, so we just wanted to talk about a couple of events that we've done at Viewmont and are working on to make Viewmont so awesome. So one of our favorite events, at least my favorite, is a fundraiser we do at Christmas time, which is called Vikings Give. This is a fundraiser where we raise money for grand families, which are grandparents who take care of their grandkids. And we basically raise money to provide them a Christmas. And this year we had over 100 volunteers helping 117 families, which was amazing. And we provided 269 Christmases, which was seriously so awesome. We also got to help a lot of Viewmont students by donating money and giving them gas and grocery cards. This opportunity was amazing. It really gets the whole school and student life connected with the community life, which was seriously awesome. It created a tight bond for all of us, and it definitely brought us together through service, which was awesome.
Yeah, another one of these ways that we're able to create this environment is our teen center, and I know you all touched on that a little bit earlier, and we very clearly saw what that does for people. But it's super useful for many students who need resources that aren't provided at home, but also who just need a safe place when having a hard day. Whether it's something big that they need or small, that teen center is there for that, and we're so grateful for that. We're also super lucky to have many multi-language learners at our school and a program to benefit them throughout their high school and future careers. When collaborating with our Multicultural Advisory Council, I've been able to better understand the needs of our school, and I'm able to address those needs not only in our Multicultural Advisory Council, but also bridge the gap and address those needs in our Student Advisory Council as well. So through this, we're able to create a more cohesive environment by collaborating with more diverse groups, and our constant goal is to make everyone feel supported no matter what situation they're in.
And so also, something we already talked about as well, but we talked about the unified sports teams, but our team at Viewmont is a really unique experience that we've all been through. Like Cass talked about earlier, our theme is about the one, and this past couple weeks this past school year, right? Mm-hmm. And we've done a couple tournaments for the unified sports, and we've been able to have actually a really good turnout. We've had a lot of attendance. The whole basketball team came to support, and our whole job is to go support people, and it's been super fun to come together and support people in the sport that they love. And unified sports has been an awesome opportunity to show the community and the unity we have at Viewmont.
Yeah. Another thing that we're kind of currently working on is we've done a lot of lunchtime activities for several years in hopes of including others. But recently we found that the student body officers are almost the only ones participating. So because of this, we have a new initiative. So March 28th will be our first Pizza Friday, where everyone's encouraged to have pizza and games with officers and make new friends. This focuses on creating an inclusive environment for everyone to feel welcome, whether they're sitting alone at lunch or just feel lost amidst a large group. Now, this plan may not be perfect, but our goal is to adjust along the way, and we constantly strive to make every Viking feel like they matter.
So with this new initiative, our two key focuses at Viewmont are about the climate and the culture. Viewmont is a place we strive to be supportive in a tight group with a diverse culture, but also a safe and positive climate that allows people to feel seen and also heard. And we just wanted to thank our student life and our faculty for that.
Yeah, we're truly so proud of what we do at Viewmont and what Viewmont stands for. We're so proud of what we do and what Viewmont stands for, truly. We're so lucky to have teachers and staff who make us feel supported and create safe and collaborative environments for us students to learn in everyday life each and every day. So thank you for having us.
Wow. These guys deserve a clap. Wow. You, too, are representing Viewmont High School very, very well. You know what? Students are lucky if they get to go to Viewmont High School. I'm just so amazed to hear everything you're doing to serve others and to make everyone feel welcome at Viewmont. You're making a difference in the lives of your fellow students. You really are. And you may not know it in the next little while. You may not ever know it, but trust me, you're making a difference for them and changing their lives for good. So thank you for what you're doing there. We appreciate everything. So, and thanks for being with us tonight. Yeah, it's good to hear from you. Okay.
President Gerard.
Yes.
It's my weekly amendment or addendum to the my board report. There was one thing I wanted to shout out.
Oh, okay. I'm like, what's
it's just
addendum?
too
Okay.
much pressure at the beginning. There were a lot of things, but the one thing I wanted to say that I was really happy to attend was the webinar about class sizes that was done this year. And so huge thank you to our team that made that happen.
Yes.
And I haven't seen anything like that, at least since I've been on the boards, to address such a specific question and concern. And it was something that I personally had asked to do ahead of time before we were making these decisions. And it was such a good example of the district being very responsive. And I was so glad that the recording came out, because I was able to send it to a lot of people that weren't able to attend in person. So just a huge shout out if you're an employee and you want to be aware of that. That was really great.
Yeah,
really great.
I'm really glad that you added that addendum because we skipped over that and didn't mean to. That really shows the responsiveness of our superintendency to our public and our employees that were asking questions about that, and really was great. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, Superintendent Linford.
Okay, thank you for that, and thanks for recognizing that. I appreciate the team. I did very little for that. Just showed up and chatted with our team and gave them maybe a glimpse of what our meetings look like when we're not being recorded, and really appreciate that opportunity. Want to just a quick note about Viewmont High School. I think most people know I spent 2/3 of my career. I've been in education for 26 years. 2/3 of it was at Viewmont High School. I went out of my way to honestly not do anything special for Viewmont when I was a director, and sometimes knowing me is the worst thing that can happen for extra privileges, because I go out of my way to not do that. But I have to acknowledge it is a special place.
It is.
It is.
It is.
And I just spent too long there. That's all. And that doesn't just happen. That happens because of leadership, and the students operate in a space and really make a difference there. But I also, you have to recognize a good Principal Lund, who clearly we've seen good work tonight. So thanks, buddy. Okay. Couple things. Just a quick reminder that tomorrow we have the Davis Academic League Championships here at the PDC. We also may not have water on the facility because they're doing some road work, so you'll get to enjoy a honey bucket potentially. That's North Layton Junior High and Mueller Park Junior High who will be competing for the championship. Did I get that right? School directors, is that? Oh, Mill Creek. Yeah, Mill Creek. Sorry, it's all the same. Mill Creek. Okay. Perfect. I also want to just quickly, it's Employee Recognition Week, and we particularly have been thinking about our classified employees. A lot of the work that happens with our classified employees, our folks, it just happens. Your life gets really miserable if classified employees aren't doing their job, and you really notice when they don't do their job. But we have incredible customer service in our classified group, and I want to especially recognize our maintenance team. Weston Weeks leads that group. They're exceptional, and their customer service is through the roof. Of course, Tim supervises that. Mr. Leffel supervises that group. Really want to recognize them. That's a group that we don't have stand in front of us very often, but we just can't function without them. So grateful for them. And last but not least, I want to thank my superintendent's executive staff. When I talk about our SES. Our SES team is really powerful, and I get, as you can imagine, dozens of emails, sometimes a day, with concerns, and I never have to worry that I'm going to send that impossible sometimes response to an exceptional, caring executive staff member to take care of that. So grateful for the leadership received there, and in conjunction with that, I want to recognize that we're losing one of our executive staff this month. Kelly Madro is retiring from Davis School District, and I just want to. This will be her last board meeting here, and I know. So she sat through a lot of them, quietly supporting our district and absorbing what the business of the district. And she's as irreplaceable as a person can be. We always say we're all replaceable. That's one of our mantras. We're all replaceable. Nobody tries to get too self-important in our crew, but Kelly's pretty irreplaceable, pretty special. She led us through a very successful accreditation process, but beyond that, she's just an awesome person to have on your team. You're always really proud to have Kelly Madro. I used to talk to her as administrator at track meets, and the woman can talk about stuff, but we're blessed to have her, and it's hard to see her go, but her fingerprints will be all over this district for a long time. So thank you.
It's quite the emotional meeting tonight, so we're just all a mess up here, but we will miss Kelly a lot. And I have to give a shout out to Principal Lund too, and his team at Viewmont, because they've touched our family too. So yeah, we're just having an emotional night tonight, aren't we? Okay, now on to something else. Consent items. Not so emotional, maybe.
Not so emotional.
Hopefully you've had a chance to look at the consent items. Are there any items that you would like moved to business item on that list? Ms. Hogan?
Yeah, I request we pull number 7, Sensitive Materials Appeal Committee recommendation from consent to business.
Okay. We will pull that and put that on our business item agenda. We'll do that one first. Do I hear a motion on the rest of the consent items minus number 7?
So I move that we approve consent items 1 through 6 and 8.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. We have a motion to approve the consent items 1 through 6 and then 8 minus number 7. And it was motioned by Ms. Barber and seconded by Ms. Price. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Okay, we will move on to our business items, and we will start with number 7, the Sensitive Materials Appeal Committee recommendation. And I would ask Ms. Hogan, do you want to address that one since you moved that?
Yes. After looking through the materials provided to us by Dr. Toon and studying the excerpts from the books, I would agree with the Objective Committee's decision concerning those 3 books, and believe that they contain the explicit depictions that violate the law. So I don't know if I make a motion or we discuss that.
You can go ahead and, I think you go ahead and make the motion
So-
and the
so-
second, and then we'll discuss.
Okay,
Yep.
so my motion would be I move to uphold the Objective Committee's decision regarding the 3 books in question.
Okay. Do I hear a second on that?
Ms. Gerard, if I might clarify,
Okay,
and
please.
with permission,
Okay.
would your determination apply to drama as well in that?
Yes.
That
To
it- that it would
go with
contain
what
objective-
the
that-
Objective
The Objective
Committee-
Committee voted that it did not contain sensitive materials.
Right.
So you're upholding that determination.
Yes.
Your motion would uphold that determination for drama, and the determination that Twisted and The Hate You Give do contain sensitive
Do
materials.
contain that.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, I
thank
just
you
wanted to
for
make
that
sure that we knew that.
clarification.
We
Yes.
probably should, yeah,
Probably should put
reword
that
that.
in the motion,
Yeah, put that into motion language
Um,
and just name the books.
Okay. I move to uphold the Objective Committee's original decision regarding drama, Twisted, and The Hate You Give.
Okay. Okay. Is there a second on that? And then we can have a
I just
discussion. Julie, do you have a question?
clarifying
Yes.
question.
Uh-huh.
My understanding that the drama decision that we're moving on, the recommendation from the Board Appeals Committee was to uphold the subjective. Because we already went through the objective.
Yeah.
Now we
Yeah.
went through the subjective
Yes.
review. So we're actually not talking about the objective one right now. That's not before us.
That's right. That's
So-
a good catch.
There's only
So
one,
don't,
right?
don't put
So
drama in at all.
perhaps I might suggest that you say that the recommendation would be to retain drama as recommended, and then the motion regarding Twisted and The Hate You Give could be worded the way you
Yeah.
said it.
Do you want to try that one again?
It's just
kind of
complicated
confusing.
because there's a different
Yes.
decision on
Yes,
those
you
two,
are.
and I don't want it to look like the decision applies to all
All
three.
3, yeah.
Okay. I move that we uphold the Objective Committee's decision to retain drama.
So if you take objective out, then that's perfect. Because it's a
Uphold the
subjective, it's a
decision.
subjective committee's decision as
Oh,
noted
too
by
many
Ms. Powell.
committees.
Or you can
Okay.
just say
Can you
Board
just
I'm
Appeals.
say
sorry,
retain
I know
for
I'm not really like in my lane here, but
But can you
It's
just
okay.
say retain? Does
the
it have
committee
to?
decision to retain would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, I move to uphold the committee's decision to retain drama. And I move to uphold the Objective Committee's decision to, it's not remove,
It's-
though.
That's what.
That it is.
Yeah,
Remove. Remove.
Right, but it's just going on, okay, remove, Twisted, and The Hate You Give.
That's
Okay. That's great. Does everyone understand that motion? Okay. Okay. Is there a second on that motion, and then we can continue the discussion?
I'll second.
Okay. So we've had a motion by by Ms. Hogan and a second by Ms. Powell, and I'm not going to repeat the motion. Okay. Any more discussion on these? Ms. Mercer, did you have something you wanted to?
I'm happy to let someone else go first. I'm still trying to
Okay,
figure
Ms.
it
Price.
Okay, I'm just trying to process this too.
Yeah.
So what you're asking is to just remove instead of advancing it to a subjective review.
Yes, and that was the decision that was originally made.
By the first committee.
With the first committee,
Yep.
yeah.
Okay, but the appeals committee made the decision for a subjective review.
Yes.
Can I clarify the decisions that were made in the timeline just to help, I think,
Yes.
my assist? So let's start with drama.
'Kay.
Drama was reviewed by the objective committee and voted to retain. And that decision to retain was appealed. And the board approved last time the decision that the book would go to subjective review. The book went to subjective review, and the subjective committee voted to retain, and that decision was appealed, and that's the decision that is proposed to be upheld by the appeal committee. That's, I think, the one that's maybe not in question, that the
that
motion
one
would support
was
the
still to
process that's already played out. Twisted was reviewed by the objective committee, and the objective committee voted that the material contains objective, bright line material in the book. And the same decision was made for The Hate U Give, and both of those decisions were appealed. So when that went to the appeal committee recommends to the board that decision about bright line violation would be overturned, and that the books would not be returned directly to the shelves, but rather undergo the subjective review process.
And I wanted to add.
I'm not making this stuff up, I promise.
No. Any questions on that?
I just wanted to add that the objective committee was also not unanimous on that vote.
Both of them were 4-2. 2 people voted that it did not contain objective material, and 4 people voted that it did.
And there was one person missing from that committee.
For both books, yes.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Any other questions? Okay.
I think I do have a question.
Okay,
Of just
Ms.
if
Barber.
this motion, as stated, passes, what happens?
Drama would be retained in the libraries, which
Yeah.
it currently is on the shelves in
Yeah.
libraries, and the other 2 books would be removed based on objective criteria.
They would not go back to
if Ms. Hogan's motion passes,
just
both
wanted to
the
clarify
board
that.
would
They
be
would not
saying
go
that the
back to
books
the-
contain objective material and would therefore be removed from circulation.
And were it not to pass, they would then be moved to the subjective committee.
Correct. Well, we would need a motion to approve the recommendation as it is, another motion.
Okay.
So-
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, go ahead. Do you have another?
I just wanted to
clarifying?
make a comment. So I think the question in my mind is whether you feel that the materials in those 2 books violate the law or not. That's what we're voting on here.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, can I add something? Violate
Yes.
specifically the bright line rule.
Correct.
So
yeah.
that's a different analysis than the subjective, where you take into consideration serious value. for
And
minors.
appropriateness.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good
Did-
clarification.
So is this the appropriate time to discuss,
Yeah, well, we have a motion and a second on the floor, so we can discuss.
Okay. Well, I just want to, I've never done this in board meetings, so usually we just do this consent, but anyway, for the Twisted book, I feel like it does violate the bright line rule, specifically 76-10-1227-1A1, which prohibits description or depiction of human genitals in a state of sexual stimulation or arousal. And in particular, there's this whole passage, which maybe I'll kind of censor a little bit. But, I mean, it says, are you guys getting nervous?
You can do whatever you want, but you can just say that you feel like
Yeah.
it violates the bright line
Yeah,
rule.
like, there's just
You know.
this whole passage, and it
Yeah.
specifically talks, it's not just a reference, it really is describing the whole thing.
So you feel like it violates the bright line rule?
Do you not want me to read it?
Then
What,
yeah, I don't know that you need
refer
to.
to the
Well, like
page number.
censoring
Yeah.
certain
Yeah.
things.
Refer to it because we can look at
Okay.
it.
Yeah,
So,
and it is on the website.
page 125. I can like censor some
Okay.
stuff.
Yeah.
It starts with I was Wolfman, the Hulk, Casanova, the last man on earth with the last woman, ready and willing and very, very hot. Her lips were warm and sweet, and if her breath was a little nasty, well, it didn't bother my blink one bit. Her hand moved down my chest. Yes, yes, she pressed. Okay.
I think we get it. Yeah.
So anyway, I
Okay.
just feel like that
Yeah.
that represents the bright line rule, human genitals in a state of sexual stimulation or arousal.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments before we vote? Okay, we have a motion and a second on the floor. I'm not going to read the motion again, but all in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed to the motion?
No.
Opposed? No. Okay, so help me vote. Raise your hand with the, it's 4-3. Okay, for the motion?
No, against the motion.
You probably want to.
Let's do a raise of hand. All those in favor of the motion? So there's 1, 2, 3. All those against the motion? The other 4. Okay. That motion fails. So, okay.
So I would suggest that
So
we
now
need
we
a
vote
motion
To now send it on to
to consider
the-
approving them as they're written, because that motion was to adjust the.
Right. Okay. So is there a motion to approve them as they're written then?
Maybe we should just take one book at a time, because the motion was actually for 2 books, but we hadn't actually discussed The Hate You Give.
I think we can go ahead. I think we've spent enough time on
I
it that
think
we can
let's
go
see if
ahead
this
and put them
motion
together.
passes. See
Yeah.
if this one
Yeah.
passes.
Yeah, and then if we need to separate them, we can.
Okay.
So is there a motion on the
Yeah.
other side then?
I move we,
Approve line item 7.
Yeah, just as recommended.
we approve the Sensitive Materials Appeal Committee recommendation, item 7 in the consent items.
I'll second. Okay, so all in favor of that motion to approve the original consent item, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Oppose.
Okay, so same vote. So that motion passes, the original motion on the consent agenda. So, okay. All right. Well, let's move on to the other business items. Thank you for your input there. And Mr. Ben Onofrio, our counsel, will come up and talk about this policy.
Thank you, President Gerard, members of the board. We have for you just one policy today. Can you guys hear me to this? Just
Yeah.
one policy today. It's the elections and duties of president and vice president. It's on second reading, final reading. The policy committee took the advice of the board from our last meeting last month, and we put into place, you can see there's the evidence of our work on the deadlock condition for a vote. The policy committee voted in favor of this version, and we hope that you will pass that on second and final reading.
Okay. Do we have a motion on 1B-015, elections and duties of president and vice president, first and final?
I'll make a motion that we approve 1B-015, elections and duties of president and vice president, first and final.
Okay. Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, so we've had a motion by Ms. Barber and a second by Ms. Price to approve 1B-015 policy.
Can
Any
I-
discussion before we vote?
Yeah, or can I propose a modification, or do we need to just vote?
That would be a substitute motion, so we can have.
Now's the time, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, we can discuss the motion. And
do we want to discuss the motion first?
Are you making a substitute motion? Do you want to make a substitute
I'd
motion?
like to make a substitute.
Okay, you can do that.
So I just want to move to just remove the part that disallows abstentions, and I'll explain why. Or do I
Okay.
need a second? Do I need?
We need a second for your substitute motion.
Okay.
So you've made the motion.
Yeah.
Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, so now we have a substitute motion on the floor. And would you read that again, how you want it to sound, Julie?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a long policy. All I just wanted to move is just to remove the part that prohibits abstention votes. That's all. And
Okay.
the only reason why is because last time, as we discussed, and I recognize that the board, the majority, was fine with allowing abstention in this specific case, but there was a question asked in board meeting, what does Robert's Rules say about it? And so looking into it, Robert's Rules is absolute about, and I know we don't have to follow Robert's Rules, I
Right.
just think it's good policy. It's hundreds of years of councils meeting together, and there's good, valid reasons for it. So I feel like it could still work the same way, but I just feel more comfortable if we kind of go by Robert's Rules. That's generally what people go by. But if everyone else doesn't want to.
Can I ask a clarifying question on that?
Yes.
So you're just asking for that language about like required to vote if present, would just be removed. You're not going to say anything about able to abstain, just remove the requirement?
Yeah, it just says no abstentions are allowed, so just remove that.
Okay. Okay.
I will add a comment here. I know that we normally follow Robert's Rules of Order, but our policy would trump that. I just disagree with the idea of, and I know part of it they can abstain, but I disagree with the idea of taking that out because I feel it's a duty of a board member to vote for their own leadership. So that's how I feel about it. Anybody else?
I just want to add that there is the ability to abstain in the first vote.
Round. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, any other comments? No? Okay.
I don't know if this could go to this motion or to the other one, but I just want to mention, I was spending some time reading Coming to Order, a guide to successful board meetings put out by the Utah School Boards Association. And I'm really glad that this version doesn't have a secret vote, because as I just looked into the legalities of it, I was super concerned about it. And it does say the election for president and vice president must be by an open vote and not by any form of secret ballot. There's no provision in the law for a secret vote. And the declared public policy of the Open Public Meetings Law is that actions of public bodies be taken openly. So as I looked into I just looked into case law. You guys know that's what I do. And there was definitely some cases that said don't even do it because a paper ballot is considered a secret vote. So under Robert's Rules of Procedure. And there's case law, like high-level case law, saying you can't even put it on a ballot and then show everybody later. So it is honestly my preference if we just do raise hands or something rather than put it on a paper ballot. But I mean, at least now, after every vote, it's read by individual board members. So I'm not as concerned as I was previously, but that is a consideration.
So you wouldn't change anything about the voice vote, or would you amend your amendment motion to change anything?
Well, let's discuss. I mean, is anyone else concerned, or is everybody else fine with paper ballot and just announcing after? Can I get a sense of how you guys feel? Instead of just doing motion after motion.
I'm fine with the paper ballot and then it's published. I think that's fine.
I'm not concerned with that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the paper. I do agree with the paper ballot part.
I'm not concerned. I like the paper ballot.
I'm good with the paper ballot also.
As well. Okay.
Okay.
So I'm not going to bother doing the motion.
Okay. So you would just keep your motion, your substitute
yeah,
motion.
just
you have
to
have a substitute motion on the floor.
Yeah,
and
I
a
just
second.
prefer.
So, and that
let's
has
just
to
vote.
do with the abstaining.
Yeah, just removing that language that says no abstentions allowed. And
Okay.
It's just because it's just kind of policy, general overall policy.
With the Roberts rules. Okay. So we have a substitute motion on the floor by Ms. Powell, and we have a second by Ms. Hogan regarding removing the abstention, allowing abstention, not just in the first round, but through the whole voting process. All in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All against? Nay?
No.
Nay.
Nay. Okay, so was it 2-4 or 3-4?
What I
Did you abstain, Michelle?
Depends.
It's
I
hard to
did
tell
not.
here.
I was
Okay.
I was a nay. I just couldn't tell what Bridget was.
You were an A.
so.
Yeah. I was an A too, so.
Yeah, there you go.
5-2. Okay, all right. So that substitute motion fails, and so we'll need another motion.
No, it just goes back.
We're back to the original motion.
Right, back to the original motion. Do I have a motion on that?
I would make. Can I make a comment about it?
Sure.
I think the ability to abstain in that first round is maybe used frequently, but I think if it goes to a second round, I think it would be really great to have your representative having input over a coin toss. Is my thought.
Yep. I would agree with that. I'm okay with the abstention in the first round,
Yeah.
but after that, I just, and
need you.
I still really feel like it is a duty of a board member to vote for their own leadership. So, okay. Anybody else want to make a comment? Okay, did we have, did we have a?
So the original motion was made by Michelle, seconded by Emily to adopt
By
the
Emily,
policy as
yeah.
presented.
Okay, all in favor of that motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Nay.
Okay.
I guess I'm against it
Are
too.
you an A? Are you an A? Okay, so 5-2. Okay, that motion passes. Okay, all right. Thank you, Mr. Onofrio. Okay, the next one is mine, the board calendar adjustment. And you have an exhibit in board book. Due to some conflicts, we had published 2 board study sessions, and we're needing to change those dates. And so we want to change the dates for the board study sessions to April 21st and September 5th of this year. Any questions about that, about the specifics? Okay, I need a motion to approve that.
I move we approve the 2025 board calendar adjustment.
Okay.
I second that.
Okay.
motion.
Ms. Price made the motion, and it was seconded by Ms. Mercer to approve the calendar adjustment. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. That motion passes. Okay, school fees. Mr. Tanner. What's so funny?
Oh, they're just telling me to hurry.
Oh.
I got it here as quick as I can. Carrie, you want to set the 2-minute timer, please? All right, for President Gerard and the school board, thank you. So for second and final reading, have for you the changes that we submitted for you for the school fees for the 25-26 school year. And there's one kind of major revision that just passed legislature in the House and Senate, and that is the language that we put in the gray box, which includes the non-course fees and the course and the fee courses that you can charge students for. There's some typos that I found on this, but those non-fee courses that are not subject to fees are the language arts, health, science, mathematics, and I'm not sure what else I had on there, social studies. And so those are the ones that are non-fee courses, unless, and there's a caveat in there, and that would be unless the child is taking something home that's theirs. But we can't really think of anything on that, but that they might do with that. So that was the only change that we needed to do to align with the updated legislative policy changes, and so we have that done. And I'll spend probably the next few weeks just reformatting this so it's a little simpler once we put it on the website and things like that. Since I sent this out back in February, I had 2 emails from parents with concerns, I guess, in a little way, and so I emailed both of them back, and they were satisfied with my responses. One was regarding the instrument fee rental, which went from 125 to the 400, but that 400 was because of the third-party rental fees, and so I explained that. And the other one had nothing to do with the fee policy, but it's more just fees for students who are homeschooled but maybe have 1 or 2 classes at a school. So I addressed those, and anyway. So.
Hey, any questions? Thank you, Mr. Tanner. I know this represents a lot of work. And this is, any questions on the fees? Ms. Barber?
Okay. Yes, so much work. I got to sit in on some of those meetings. It's been complicated, and it is ever changing with new legislation. One question I kept getting asked, and even though I'd sat in those, I'm still not great at responding. Can you explain the activity fee card, or the activity card, and how that's going to be used, and like why we're having to implement it?
Yeah, so that was an updated legislative act that also happened to, that we can't charge every single student for an activity card, which we've done in the past. So if, and that was just included in the fees. And so now it's an optional fee. And so we will not have a card for the high schools, but it'll be a, like a watermark on the student's MyDSD, so they can use that to show that they've paid the $32 for the activity fees. And then that would allow them to go to basketball games, football games, you know, dances,
for the whole
whatever.
year?
Yes.
Okay.
And to other schools as well. And if they didn't have that watermark on their MyDSD, and the IT department's working on that, then they would just have to pay at the gate. Junior highs are not going to be charging anything for activity. They're not going to do an activity card or anything, so that's something that will just be eliminated.
Okay. I think the questions I was getting was about junior highs, and because we had talked about it in one of those meetings, and so they're just, is it safe to say that they won't be charging for admission at the junior high level?
Yeah, we typically haven't charged at those except for maybe the theatrical plays.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Okay. I think the question was for students who maybe just want to attend like one event, they can still pay for that one.
Yes.
But the legislation changed what we were able to charge for above and beyond just the card.
So what they made was a policy that you could not charge every student that amount, or that $32 for the high school case. It's more of an optional thing. So if you want to purchase it, you can.
Just the students who want to attend those extra activities. Okay, thank you.
And just a clarification, so we won't charge for theatrical events at junior high for students?
Still do that. Yeah.
Oh, they can still do that. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because of the cost of plays and licensing and things.
Mm.
So.
Okay, any more questions of Mr. Tanner?
And it looked like Mr. Leffel was going to say something.
Do you have? Okay, any more questions for Mr. Tanner? Viewmont students, do you guys have any questions about fees?
Can't say I do. Can't say I do.
You're not even worried about fees anymore at this point, are you?
They're wearing $500 sweaters.
That's
so
also true. You know.
It's $250. Isn't that the max that we could pay?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I've paid for a lot of those.
$275.
I have paid for a lot of those
begrudgingly
sweaters.
paid that.
I didn't say they paid it. It's been subsidized.
Yeah.
And Mr. Leffel mentioned in the
That is
workshop
true.
also that the fee schedule is also changing for the 26-27 school year to have a track from 9th to 12th grade where a student could take a section of courses without fees too. So that's something we'll be working on as well. So.
Okay. I have 2 closets full of those sweaters. Those expensive sweaters. Yeah. Anyway, okay. With no more questions, do I have a motion? And this is second and final.
I motion that we approve the 2025-2026 school fees second and final
reading. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. And is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Mercer and a second by Ms. Stevens to approve the school fee schedule presented by Mr. Tanner on the second and final reading. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Tanner. Appreciate your work on that. Okay, next we have Mr. Tim Leffel.
All right, part of the 2022 bond was to make 3 track and fields at junior highs. This was to, number one, help junior high track meets, but also to help take some of the pressure off our high school fields with the mini sports that we have. So Horizon Junior High is the first one, and that's already funded through a different bond project. And now we're proposing that Hogan and Associates be selected as the CMGC for the Shoreline and the Centerville Junior High track and fields.
Okay, any questions that you want to ask Mr. Leffel about that? Okay, seeing no questions, do we have a motion?
Do you need specific?
Just need a motion
Okay.
to accept.
Are there still some questions down there?
CMGC.
Are you ready?
I got it.
So the motion we would need would be accept Hogan and Associates as the CMGC.
Right, and that's in board book.
Got it. Okay. I will make a motion that we accept Hogan and Associates as for the auxiliary turf and track projects, CMGC.
Okay, do I hear a second on that project?
I'll second that.
Okay, we've had a motion by Ms. Barber and a second by Ms. Price to accept Hogan and Associates to build the auxiliary turf and track projects. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Okay, Mr. Leffel again, Adams Elementary roof.
So the original roof at Adams Elementary was put on when I was a sophomore in high school, so it's really old.
Oh, that's
so
old.
it's time to replace that. And so we've done a bidding process, and we would recommend the board accept Perks Roofing Incorporated with a bid of $569,340 to replace that roof.
Okay, any questions on that? Okay, do we have a motion on that one?
All right. I'll
to
make a
it.
motion that we accept Perks Roofing for their bid of $569,340.
Okay, is there a second?
I should say for the Adams Elementary roof.
Elementary roof replacement. Okay, is there a second on that?
I second.
Okay, so we have a motion by Ms. Barber and a second by Ms. Mercer to award the Adams Elementary roof replacement project to Perks. Is that how you say it? Perks Roofing?
Looks like it.
Let's see. Yeah, Perks Roofing
Perks
for
Roofing.
$569,340. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. And Mr. Leffel again.
Yes.
Viewmont High School.
There are several portions of the roof at Viewmont High School that needs replacement as well. Once again, we've gone through a bid process and recommend the board accept Utah Elite BEC's bid in the amount of $1,208,275, or $208,275.
I need to know how old you were when the Viewmont roof was put in.
I don't know that.
He's refusing to answer. Okay.
That's concerning.
No, I'll do the motion.
Okay,
I
Ms.
move
Mercer.
that we approve Utah Elite BEC for the amount of $1,208,275 for the replacement, a partial roof replacement of Viewmont High School.
Okay, is there a second for that?
I'll second that.
Okay, a motion by Ms. Mercer, a second by Ms. Price to award the Viewmont High School partial roof replacement to Utah Elite and an amount of $1,208,275. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. All right, moving along.
One more.
Mr.
This isn't a
Leffel.
roof, but rooftop units at Clearfield High School, which will help with the heat and cooling for the gymnasium. So we once again have done a bid process and recommend Salmon Mechanical in the amount of $751,787.
Do I hear a motion on that?
I will make a motion
Okay.
that we approve the bid from Salmon Mechanical for the Clearfield High School Fieldhouse air conditioning bid in the amount of $751,787.
Okay, is there a second on that motion? I'll second that. Okay, we've had a motion by Ms. Barber and a second by Ms. Gerard to approve the bid for Clearfield High School air conditioning project to Salmon Mechanical in the amount of $751,787. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. And Mr. Leffel, last item.
So this last one's worth $105 million, so I might get emotional on this piece. Just saying. Just kidding. The last board meeting, we adopted the parameters of a resolution to issue these bonds. Now, this is the actual resolution itself. We have to go through a 30-day waiting period after we pass the parameters to make sure there's no objections. There were none. So now we're passing the actual resolution to issue no more than $105 million of bonds against our general obligation.
Thank you. Are there any questions about this resolution?
Did you want to make a comment about the bond rate? How that was of note?
Yeah, give them,
Yeah.
yeah, it was mentioned before,
Yeah.
but if you want to mention that again, that was great.
Yeah.
So a couple years ago, the district on its own was upgraded to a AA1 rating, which is one rating from AAA, which is the highest you can get. We have a AAA rating because the state backs our bonds, but they also look at our individual rating. We met with them, Superintendent and President Gerard and Vice President Price. Mr. Lee was there as well as our finance director. Gave a presentation to them, helped them understand their only concern was declining enrollment in our district. That's something that we have to plan for and think about. But we heard today that they are maintaining our rating, even though our enrollment is dropping a little bit at AA1 stable. So that was good news for us.
That was really good news. Okay. President, I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
Ms. Barber,
I figure I just finished
make that
this thing
motion.
out.
Okay.
All right. I move we adopt the resolution of the Board of Education of Davis School District authorizing the issuance and sale of not more than $105 million aggregate principal amount of its general obligation bonds and related matters.
Okay. Is there a second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Okay, the motion was made by Ms. Barber and a second by Ms. Price that we adopt the resolution of the Board of Education of Davis School District authorizing the issuance and sale by the board of not more than $105 million aggregate principal amount of its general obligation bonds and related matters. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that motion passes. Board, we've come to the end of our agenda, but it's necessary that we go into a closed session, so we need a motion and a second to do that.
I move to go into closed session for the purpose of litigation and negotiations.
Thank you, Ms. Powell.
I second that.
Thank you, Ms. Mercer. We'll do a roll call vote, even though we may change that in the future.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for being here tonight. That was a little bit of a long one. I've seen worse.
It's still going.
It's still going.